What you doing out in these streets, Leroy? What you doing out in these streets? What you doing out? What you doing out? What you doing out in these streets? What you doing out in these streets, Leroy? We in these streets. If you're watching this right now, it means that you are in these streets here with me. The one with unknown faces, the one who hails from unknown locations, Leroy. Thank you so much once again for tuning in, guys. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting this podcast and watching and sharing it. And thank you for still listening. Thank you for still watching. As you know, this is another episode of the segment called Any More Questions, where you can ask me any questions you like. So I simply hitting me up on Instagram whenever I post, a questions post, Instagram or Facebook, or even commenting on an episode of mine. Even you can comment on this episode and I'll actually read it, and then I can see if you or your question can make it on the next segment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, tell your friends, and keep watching. I really appreciate all the support, guys. Also, you can follow this podcast on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, and also I have a Facebook page, In These Streets with Leroy, as well as on Instagram, In These Streets with Leroy, where you can check out some of the clips and photos that I post with regards to episodes. So this question was actually from a guest that I had on. He came recently to film an episode. It hasn't come out yet. He has been on the show before, but we did another episode. I invited him back on for another episode, and this is from KwaZulu, Sizwe Tsele. He was in here, and he actually had a question for me, which I found quite interesting. He wanted to know, is there any music that I actually listen to that people might find surprising? Firstly, thank you for the question. The other questions were great. There's some not safe for work ones that still crept in, but I was drawn to this question because throughout my career, I've been asked if I have a ghostwriter, somebody who actually helps write my songs, and I just found it's kind of like a compliment, because they think that more than one person needs to write a song like this so that it can come out this way. But no, I've always written my own songs. But I guess the reason for people asking me that is basically because I think the versatility of my songs, the way I deliver it, the subject matter, it's all different. But the reason for this is that I've always had a broad palette when it comes to music. I never limited myself to hip-hop or to rap, even though this is my main genre, which I create. Going back to high school, there was a large part of my high school career that I only listened to rock and metal and, grunge, punk rock, I used to love it so much. I still do love it. I still do listen to Metallica. I still do listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Papa Roach. I still listen to Limp Bizkit in the gym. Oh my gosh. There's so many bands that I still listen to that I find, the music is still entertaining. Nirvana. Oh my gosh, Nirvana was a big part of my childhood. There's so many other bands. The Black Keys, I still listen to Black Keys. I love Black Keys. But the influence of the rock actually bled into my music, this is before even I decided that I wanted to pursue a career in music. My first single, I Get Down for Cape Town. I don't know if you know the song or if you remember it. The guitar riff was very much a rock-based song, it's just so prominent because like when I produced that song, like I still had this major rock influence, you know, connecting me to my music and to where I could hate, you know. There's a lot of songs that I did back then that was very much rock influenced, you know. And besides the rock influence, there was so many other, I mean, to be honest with you, the only time I listen to hip hop is in the gym, like when I train. Like I listen to other genres as well, but I listen to mostly hip hop in the gym because I feel so connected with it. So it really gives me that that energy, that second wind, so to speak. Other than that, so many others. You know, I purposefully actually seek out music from artists I've never heard before. Like if I hear a tone, like somebody's tone that just sounds magical, or the melody or of some artist, I always try to research and find out. I don't actually care if it's a popular artist or not. Like, I mean, we can learn from everyone. It doesn't mean that you, the most popular artist, means that you the best artist, you know. There's a lot of people that have been slept on. So I always try to find inspiration from other sources. I mean, even Billie Eilish, I love her music. It's amazing. I love Doja Cat. I love Kehlani. I love SZA. So many artists, man, that I guess people would always think that I listen to hip hop a lot, but that's not always the case, you know. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really listen to music other than the gym, or if it's a new artist that came out that I love, like maybe a Kendrick or a Kanye, or you know, just to mention a few names that I would say, oh, I want to listen to that album, and I'll make a point of listening to it. Other than that, I don't really listen to music all the time like you would think. Like I'm a muso, so I'm probably always listening to music, and that's not always the case. I can't speak for all creators, but for me, when I listen to music, it's not the same like somebody else would, you know. I think it's a creative thing that we have as creatives. Because when I listen to music, I listen to delivery, I listen to performance, the way the words are articulated. I listen to the structure of the songs. I listen to the hook, how they wrote the hook, the pre-hook. I listen to the way the song is mixed. I listen to how, you know, some, like the snares or the kick drum is panned from left to right, or even some of the words, or I listen to the reverb. It's a lot of things that go through my mind when I listen to a song. It's not just listening and, you know, pumping it loud, and, you know, it's just something that happens automatically. I'm not purposefully listening out for it, you know. I mean, to this day, like I'll play like an old song that I know that I'm very familiar with, and I'll play it, and then for some reason I'll hear something that I never heard before, and I was like, oh shit, like I didn't pick that up before, and it's like small things, you know. I really appreciate the music when I listen to it, and I mostly listen to music, like if I'm really listening to music, and let's say it's the first time I listen to an album, like it's always like headphones on, a good pair of headphones that I know I can hear everything crystal clear, always through my studio monitors, and I really just listen to it, you know. But yeah, there's so much other music that I listen to that you would never say, he listens to this. But yeah, man, that's just me and my music choices. And all of those things influence the way I write songs and the way I think about writing songs from different perspectives. You know, who else do I listen to? Okay, obviously hip hop is, you know, like hip hop is Kanye or Kendrick, or I still listen to 50 Cent. or J. Cole, or well, there's just so many. But yeah, man, I've got so many other influences that I take from, that I learn from, you know. Always try to be a student, always just sit and listen and just try to absorb, and how I can apply that to my own craft so I can improve, you know. Like, a lot of people would assume that I may write all the fucking time. And don't get me wrong, I used to do this initially when I first fell in love with writing. And not even rapping. Like, writing was my first love. I only started rapping or performing my music and recording it so that other people can hear it. But I'm a writer first, so when I fell in love with writing, I wrote every fucking chance that I could, like on the back of a receipt, you know, on the back of a chocolate wrapper, or any fucking chance. This is before I had a cell phone now. This is like way back. This is like anything that I had. I would borrow pens from strangers, like I'm in a mall and if I have an idea and I'd go ask somebody who works at a store, can I just borrow your pen? I just wanted to write something down. I have this idea, and I write down, keep the pen back, and they'd look at me weird. But I'd write every fucking chance. I'd write on every fucking piece of paper that I had. No matter where I was, I would write constantly. It was a good exercise, a good way to get out my thoughts and the way I felt. But what I found with writing so much is that I would end up writing about the same shit, you know. There wouldn't be much variation of versatility in my subject matter, or even in the way I flow, in my performance, my delivery. So what I did was, one thing I noticed is that after my first album, I spoke about this before when I went through, when I dealt with depression, like I never wrote or touched anything. I couldn't for such a long fucking time. I couldn't bring myself to write. The first thing I wrote, that song I haven't released yet, but I'm going to. That very first thing that I fucking wrote was so dope. I would never forget that. And I thought I wouldn't be able to write something like that ever in my whole career, because the way I was writing and flowing was always just the same. But I kind of broke that deadlock, if you know what I mean. I wrote another song and I was like, holy shit, that song's not coming out. I can't find it anywhere. I think I gotta look for it though. I do like that song. I need to go revisit that song though. And I was like, whoa. Then I wrote another song, and that song was called Jimi Hendrix, which came out in, if you're familiar with it, yeah, you'll see the contrast between Jimi Hendrix and I Get Down for Cape Town. There's like this major fucking difference. Not only in subject matter, but delivery, flow, just the creativity. And what I picked up from that period when I wasn't making music is that I don't need to always write to get better. I need to just listen. I need to observe. I need to live. I need to gain experience from life. I need to live and just grow as I'm living my life, and that alone should help me to improve my creativity, because I write from within, from my own experiences most of the time. It might not even listen to a song like Jimi Hendrix or to, let's say, okay, that is kind of personal experience, but let's say Jimi Hendrix or that also is kind of, okay, let's just stay with Jimi Hendrix. If you listen to Jimi Hendrix doesn't seem like a song that it's about myself. But it is, like, it's entertaining and it's fun and it might be funny, but it is about my experience, you know. It is about Afro puffed. Even though when I released the song, I didn't have an Afro in it because I shaved my head after that song came out. I shaved my head before that song came out. So I did have an afro puffed out, talked about being in the club and partying, and she's looking at me like she want to go home, feeling so fresh like I'm Jimi Hendrix, like, it's all experiences that I had. So I stopped writing just for the sake of writing. I just decided to live my life, and then when it was required, I started writing. I would write. I would be maybe a bit rusty with regards to how many words I'm using in a particular bar, but after maybe a few minutes into it, it would it's like riding a bicycle. It will come back to me, okay, I can't do this here, I can't do this here, I gotta deliver this better here. I think it's, I'm not saying this is for all artists and this should work for everyone, but this just worked for me, and this is how my flow also changed and how my subject matter changed. My creativity changed completely. I can write about anything. I never have a lack of creativity. I'm never in a spot where I'm, what can I say here, or what can this song be about? Like it will hit me immediately, and I write very quick these days, like very quick. Like before, it would take me, when I started out, it would take me months to write one song, and then it became weeks, and then maybe 2 weeks, and then a week, and then a few days, and now it's down to like hours, and normally it would take me, I had to practice before I go to the studio to get it, and now it's like, I just have it. It's like it wasn't something that I physically worked on. It's to keep writing, and then all of a sudden, I was able to write about different subject matters, to flow differently, to to deliver things differently, to play with my voice in different songs if the performance required X, Y, and Z. It was all just based on my experiences and giving my creative side a chance to breathe and just grow itself, So I feel like all the music that I listen to, I love Burna Boy as well. I love Afrobeat. As you know, you probably heard Lose Control, Afrobeat song. So my Childish Gambino too. I love Childish Gambino. So all of, everything plays a part, plays a role. I learn from everyone. I'm always a student, and even listen to the Carpenters. Karen Carpenter back in the day. Lionel Richie, the Commodores. POC back in the day. Cliff Richard. Cliff Richard, man. I remember Cliff Richard too. Wow. Tom Jones. Whew. Obviously, the Fresh Prince, Al Cool J was a big influence of mine. So many others. But all of these things, Prince, Michael Jackson, oh man, Michael Jackson. But all of these artists, man, all of these performers, these creators, just really inspired me. Always have, and always learn from every one of them. They all have something to offer. Not only just because they're a singer and I can't sing, it doesn't matter, everyone has their part, whether it's the subject matter, how they perform it, how they deliver it. So, I've just always been open to having a broad palette, to just taking in learning as much as I can, not limiting myself to only hip hop, you know. But yeah, that's me and my music choices, my song choices, song selection, so to speak. Yeah, I love all music. I don't have a, I even love opera as well. I really do. So yeah, nothing's off the table with me. You know, I'll listen to it, I'll absorb it like a sponge, and I'll learn, and I'll enjoy it, you know. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Mr. KwaZulu, Mr. Sizwe, Timotic Tele. If you have any questions, guys, please feel free to comment either on this post or hit me up on Instagram, The Real Leroux, or In These Streets with Leroux, or on Facebook, In These Streets with Leroux or Leroux, or comment on this video as I just mentioned. I just repeated myself. But yeah, if you have any more questions, yeah, please keep watching, please keep sharing, like and subscribe. And yeah, until next time, we in these streets!
What you doing out in these streets, Leroux? What you doing out in these streets? What you doing out? What you doing out? What you doing out in these streets? What you doing out in these streets, Leroux? We in these streets!